Thanks for staying with your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, here on S3. Now, she has experience writing on shows like Isidingo and Tuli no Tulani, and she was a commissioning editor in drama and later comedy at SABC. So it's no wonder then that the talents of accomplished novelist, screenwriter, producer and director Tshego Monaisa were employed for the #Mabuka wedding episodes of the popular SABC1 drama series Skeem Saam, which aired earlier this week. Now, Tshego joins us right now via video call to share more about the work that went into this very, very dynamic and popular storyline. Tshego, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
So good, Tshego. I can still hear the bells.
I can hear them too.
Oh, man. Tshego, you started writing for Skeem Saam in 2018, and you haven't looked back since. And I'm glad you haven't, because you've produced such fantastic work there. What do you enjoy the most about those characters at Skeem Saam and the story there and this world of this very popular show?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me on Expresso and for that wonderful introduction. Oh my gosh. Writing for Skeem Saam since 2018 has been fantastic. My absolute favorite thing about writing for Skeem Saam is the world that it's set in. It's set in a township in Limpopo, a small township called Tshego. And the indigenous language that is predominant throughout the show is Sepedi, and I am huge on representation. I feel like as many of our languages should be represented across our TV channels, particularly SABC. So that is my ultimate favorite thing. And even if the characters are not based in Tshego, like your Lehasa, they still have some inroads into the world of Tshego. And of course, all the families and the dynamic characters are just so exciting to write for. Your Alfred Mahongwas, your Kolois, your principals. I mean, the cast does a phenomenal job of performing the words that we write on the script into the actual production of the show.
How does the writing process for Skeem Saam work? I'm always so fascinated, starting from, you know, when you come up with the concept of the storyline to the dialogue. What is that timeline like? What happens there?
It's quite a collaborative process. We sit with the entire writing team, the head writer, story editor, storyliners, and dialogue writers. And we have a big brainstorm. In that brainstorm, we discuss all the characters and the journeys that they could potentially go on. As you can imagine, those brainstorms are quite heated and quite impassioned because we're also invested in the stories that we tell. From the brainstorm, then the storyliners take particular characters' story arcs and they craft that entire story, which can range from 6 weeks to 3 months, depending on the span of the story. And then once those storylines have been written, they get broken down into episode outlines. And those episode outlines then go to the dialogue writers.
Sure, it's a lot, actually. It's like a factory, right? It really is like a story factory. And then you've got this couple, Tibosile Mapiti, in a relationship. It's culminating in this wedding special that everybody's going on about. I mean, of course, that culmination was a big moment for the audience. Tell us more about the nuance and the sentimentality that you infused into those episodes, and, you know, what that process felt like for the entire team, from the production team to the writing team, but also to the performers as well, the actors.
Yeah, so it was, as you say, it was a culmination of an epic story. Skeem Saam is on season 10, and we have known this couple since they were teenagers in Tshego, you know, in Tshego High. They have a son, BT, who's now 6-7 years old. So their story has really spanned a long time for the duration of the series. So it was a big culmination. But the nuance for me that I infused into the script was actually from the previous season's cliffhanger, season 9, where we found out that Kwaito is John's son, and Tivoz and Kwaito are half brothers. And so, in as much as this wedding was going on, the big tension in that episode was, will Kwaito show up for his half brother Tivoz's wedding? Of course, with the news of John being Kwaito's father, the two had a bit of a fallout. And so, for me, the most epic tension in the episode was when Kwaito walked through the door and everybody had their reactions. Mahongwa had his reaction, Principal Lizzie, of course, who's Kwaito's love interest, you know. So it was such a big moment and story, and for production as well, because we got to shoot in a beautiful location. We got to, you know, stretch our wings a little bit as production and flex our muscles and show everybody what we're made of. The dress that Mapiti wore was gorgeous. Everybody just looked so well. Of course, the choreography, the dance routine that the groomsmen and the bridesmaid did. So overall, it was just such a power-packed episode, which of course is what my BT and T-Boss's love story absolutely deserve.
And you managed to really keep us glued to our TV screens. I mean, I was just so on the edge when Kwaito rocked up in that suit. I was like, oh, hutsana kakapa biali. Hutsana kakapa biali. But now the episodes have aired. How do you think that they were received by the show's loyal audience? I mean, we all waited in anticipation. Is there perhaps a hint of what happily ever after looks like for this couple?
You know, I cannot tell you what happens in story, but I will say that Skeem Saam trends every night on Twitter, and so audiences obviously always stay glued onto the screen, and they love what we're doing at Skeem Saam, and I'm so appreciative to everybody who watches the show. Thank you for tuning in, and keep watching to see what happens.
I love that. Well, I'll tell you this, Tshego. I actually auditioned for Skeem Saam for the T-Boss character years ago when it started. Yes. And you didn't pick me.
Well, I'm not responsible for casting, so I'm gonna.
I joke. You're fantastic. I love your work, and we love the show. So thank you very much for continuing to give us such quality television day after day.
Thank you for watching, and please continue to keep watching, and for having me on Expresso.
Ah, lovely. That's
Thank you.
Tshego Monaisa. I love that. Catch all of the intrigue. There's a lot of it. And drama. It's all on Skeem Saam weeknights at 6:30 in the evening on SABC1, Mzansi for sure. Also, stay tuned as we'll be showing you some exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of the filming of that #Mabuka wedding. We know that it was an extravaganza, but what really went into making it is what you want to make sure that you catch here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.